Hey, 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 happy Saturday to you. Good afternoon. And what a delight it is for me to have you join me one more Saturday. Inspiration. I'm Dr. Preston Ray Winfrey. How on today are you? I hope and I pray that you're having a great day. Hope that you've had a great week. I've had a wonderful week. Doing a little of this, doing a little of that, but overall, it's been a great week. It's a great day, and I am so grateful for life, health, and strength. You know, there's a old song that says, "You didn't have to do what you did, but you did," and I thank you. That's how I feel about the Lord. When I think about all that He's done for me, how He has allowed me to wake up each day, each morning, a reasonable portion of my health and strength, clothed in my right mind. Listen, activity of my limbs, I'm telling you, I am just so thankful and so grateful. How about you? Are you thankful for all that the Lord is doing for you, what He has done, and then just to anticipate what He will do? We really don't know what the Lord will do. He always has surprises for us, and He's better to us than we are to ourselves. And I am thankful. I'm thankful that things are as well with me as they are. How about you? Are you thankful? Are you grateful in your heart? Really in your heart. This is more than just a casual, yeah, Lord, thank you. But with really, really deep gratitude in your heart for what the Lord is doing and how He keeps blessing you. Well, listen, I want to, today, I want to ask you a question. Are you going along to get along? That's what I want to deal with today. Are you going along to get along? That's an old cliche. And generally, when we hear that, that's something that many of us, if not most of us, do. Sometimes because you don't want to go through the drama, right? You don't want to deal with the sad faces and all that people are going to do, dealing with haters and all those things. So what do? We just kind of say, you know what? Whatever. I'll just go along to get along. And sometimes that's the easy way out. Or is it the easy way out? Sometimes, we say, you know what, I just don't want to have to explain anything. I just refuse to do this over and over again. Don't you know, you deal with some people who just don't get it, right? They don't get it and they don't want you to get it. They're upset with you because you get it, because you have a different perspective and you understand things, because you process things not as they do. And people are not always happy for you like that. You work hard and people upset with you because you work hard and you earn a decent living and you do well. You make positive choices for your life, because after all, who wants to make choices that's going to ruin their life? That's not wise. And so you take time, you study yourself, you study what you're doing, you think about where you want to go and what you want things to look like when you reach certain intersections in your life. And you're happy that, wow, I've done this. And sometimes you amaze yourself. I didn't know I could even do that. And man, and then what do? Most times we want to share our successes with others. And there's some, a few who will pat you on the back, say, wow, go for it. I'm so happy for you. Way to go. I'm proud of you. Congratulations. But then there are those others who, they're upset with you because you've done well, because you have excelled. There are those who are just downright mad at you. And when you investigate and ask sometimes, well, why are you upset? Well, because you're making me look bad. You give people the impression that I'm lazy and trifling and I don't do anything. You say, well, no, it's my success and my improving my condition really had nothing to do with you. It was more about what I needed to do for me. So sometimes going along to get along, it can be risky, right? You can display what you are not about when you go along to get along. Sometimes because of some of the reasons that I've mentioned earlier, you don't want to go through having to deal with people who's upset because you're trying to improve your conditions and better your way, make your load lighter, and they're upset. And sometimes rather than upset their apple carts, we just kind of say, you know what, I'll just pretend I don't know what I want. Sometimes when you go along to get along, it can cost you your integrity. Your integrity is what you are in the dark, not what people see you doing. It's what you actually do and your own private thoughts about who you are and who you were meant to be. And sometimes that can get lost in this shuffle when you're trying to go along to get along. You're trying to satisfy and appease people who, for the most part, don't really care whether you make it or fail. And that's unfortunate. And then a third thing is you can send a double signal, which is the wrong signal. You can give the impression that, okay, I really don't care about this situation or this issue, when deep in your heart, you really do care about it. And to your own self, you have to learn to be true. Now, when you're true to yourself, or quite naturally, there will be some others who will not appreciate you, who will not get along with you, who will not go along with you, who will not applaud you, who will not pat you on the back. There are people who will literally be angry with you because they want you to play the game in life. Say yes to what you really want to say no to. Say no to what you really want to say yes to. Say, well, let me think about it, when you already know what and how you feel about a matter. Let your yeses be yes and your no's be no. Don't throw your shoulders and say, well, I don't know. You try and feel a person out and you're wondering, okay, in the back of your mind, will they understand? How are they going to feel if I'm really truthful with them? And so sometimes at our own expense, we say, well, I'll just lie and pray and ask the Lord to forgive me for that. Well, why don't you be better to yourself? Treat yourself better. And don't just go along to get along, because, again, that's risky business. And how many times have you risked who you are because you just didn't want to go through the drama? If you truly want to be counted in life, then you need to take a firm stand. Take a firm stand even when it goes against the grains, when it goes against the odds. I'm reading a little earlier in Proverbs, and I want to read these passages to you. It's Proverbs chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verses 15 through 18. And what I want to do, I want to read it from the Living Bible. Listen to what it says. That's Proverbs, okay? Again, chapter 12, verses 15 through 18. It reads like this: a fool thinks he needs no advice, but a wise man listens to others. A fool is quick-tempered. A wise man stays cool when insulted. A good man is known by his truthfulness. A false man is by deceit and lies. And verse 18, some people like to make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise soothe and heal. You know, you sometimes you have to throw out the idea of going along just to get along. Sometimes if it means taking a stand, sometimes you will be in the minority. Sometimes you will be alone. You will be by yourself. I can think of maybe a number of people who have come to me because they wanted some advice, or they say, I just need for someone to tell me the truth, and I know if I come to you, you tell me. Well, unfortunately, um, when I tell them, they become upset. They become upset with me, and some have even lashed out at me and said, "Well, you think you know everything, and who made you the judge?" And, sometimes I'll answer back, and other times I'll just smile and say, you came to me. But the truth of the matter is, that person was the one who made me a judge because they came to me and asked for my judgment. They asked for my critique. And, there are those friends of mine who say, well, I know one thing. If I don't want the truth, I'm not going to come to you, because I know that you will tell me the truth. And of course, when I tell the truth, I try and cushion it so that it's just not, the truth in the raw, but the truth is the truth, and the truth will set you free. And so there are times in our lives, when we can ignore some things, and there are times when we can bypass some situations. But then when you're backed into a corner and you're made to tell the truth, you have to be truthful. You have to take the stand. Well, after it's all said and done, I have to give an account to the one who has called me to tell the truth. Listen, I know what it feels like to have the truth told to you. I've had to go to others, and they've had to be truthful with me. And sometimes I left there, my countenance was down, had my head down. I was like, oh boy, I knew I shouldn't have asked that question. But it's the truth that sets you free. And so as you go the rest of this day, and here we are right on the edge of the 4th of July. Actually, before the 4th comes, the 3rd comes, and my one wife and I will be celebrating 30 years of matrimony. Can you really believe that? 30 years. And it all hasn't been peaches and cream, but it all hasn't been downstream. We have more days that we can rejoice and thank the Lord for. And so I'm thankful for who I have, what I have in a beautiful wife. And in a marriage, sometimes you go along to get along, right? And then there are those times when you don't go along to get along. You take a stand, and you tell the truth, knowing that sometimes the truth can be costly, and at other times it can be very costly. But at the end of that journey, you can have your integrity intact, and you can know that, listen, I have the peace of the Lord in my heart. So for you, my friends, those of you who have been, lowering your standards, and for those of you who said, well, I'll just dumb down, and I won't say anything, I'll roll over and play like I'm dead. Others of you who say, well, to eliminate the drama, I'll just take the blows. Well, there are times when I think and I believe we should take that stand. So if you want a better life, and if you want to be able to breathe well, and if you want to stand up for what is right, then I would say maintain your integrity. and courage. Have the courage of your convictions, even if it means I'm going to be standing alone on this one, or that person or that group will be upset with me. But at the end of the day, I'm here to tell you, when you take the right stand, you'll be able to lay your head on a pillar of peace. You'll be able to have a good night's rest. You can wake up in the morning and really say, Lord, I thank you for one more day. Isn't that what it's about? Jesus, who came through 42 generations and gave his life on the cross and was buried and was resurrected on the third day, gone back to glory, but one day is going to return for those who love him. And I am here to tell you, whatever you go through, it is worth the journey. It's worth, if you just simply maintain your integrity and have the courage to do what is the right thing to do. The right thing may not always go along with the philosophies of others, but if you do the right thing, you have the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. Well, hey, this is Dr. Winfrey saying, the 4th is coming up, and I pray that you'll have a great, great 4th of July. But before the 4th gets here, the 2nd is coming. That's tomorrow. And I would pray that you will find yourself going to your house of worship and giving some time to the Lord who saved you. And those of you, incidentally, who are not saved, why don't you seriously consider getting saved? Get saved from your sin. Invite the Lord into your heart to be your Savior. You can do that today. As a matter of fact, you can do that right now. We say in the street, right now. You can do that and know the peace of God that can be in your heart, so that when your time of life expires, you'll know that you're going to live all through eternity with the God of your creation. Hey, this is Dr. Winfrey saying, I love you and God loves you. Thank you so much for joining me on today. And I pray that the Lord bless you real, 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 real good. I love you, and have a great rest of Saturday afternoon. We'll see you next time.